Hey, I'm Haley.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're listening to
Personality Hire, the podcast where we're back.
We're back.
Happy New Year. Happy 2026. We're back in. We're fully back in. Not only are we back in, we are in February. It's been a full month of 2026.
It has been a full month. It's been the longest month, and everybody can agree. And I think last year it did the same thing. I remember because the LA fires were last year.
Yes.
And I remember being like, this is the longest year a month has ever been.
You know what I was going to share with you about rewinding to January, the start of this year?
Yeah.
I was going to share with you something about New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
Because this year I decided I'm not doing that shit. I said, no thanks. I'm not going to set any sort of goal for myself at all in regards to feeling the pressure to make a resolution.
Yeah.
But last year, did I tell you this already? Did I tell you this?
The letter you wrote?
Yes. Did I tell you my findings from it?
No.
Okay. So I wrote myself a letter last year, and I was really, really, really jazzed to read it this year because I thought that I was going to be impressed with myself, and I thought I was going to feel accomplished, and I thought it was going to set me up to do the same kind of letter this year.
Yeah.
After I read it, I'm so it was shocking when I reread it to myself because in my mind's eye, in my memory, I had written out different categories for myself in friendship, motherhood, career, and I think just like overall self-care type of thing. It was the categories I did. And I thought I had made true goals for myself. I thought I had made, no, when I reread it, Haley, it's a to-do list. One of them being things like get a new bedspread for the downstairs guest bedroom.
Girl, and this is why we go to therapy.
It was a tick list, a to-do list. And I had not even.
That was not in your mind. I know it wasn't because I remember talking to you about this letter.
Thought I had written a manifesto. I thought I had written something that was going to change my life.
Like you were enlightened.
Oh my God. I really did.
You were enlightened by the horoscope goddesses.
Well, another thing I wrote was try to get a facial every 3 to 5 months. A tick mark. That is not a resolution. That's not a goal. That's a to-do list item. That was a to-do list item. Another thing I put was like, try to clean out the closets, everyone in the house.
You know what I'm getting from that? First of all, you did clean out your closet. Second of all, what I'm getting from this is that you are a grown woman. You have changed
so much. Grown. I've changed so much over the past year.
That's what you can take from that letter.
And I did. And I absolutely did. At first I was shocked and I read through everything and I was
Did you giggle?
Shocked. No, I was pissed at myself because I was like, first of all, you totally misunderstood the assignment. And also I was pissed that I had let my mind get to a state to where I thought a resolution equated to a mundane to-do list. Yeah. But then to your point,
that happens to a lot of people.
I went back through and I looked over the work I've done this past year, and my state of mind, I was living within a to-do list every single day. My life was dependent upon a to-do list. I would make it every morning. I put meaningless things on there. I put mundane things. I put very meaningful things on there. But I was living in a constant to-do list.
Yeah.
So much so that I had the living, breathing proof of like my new year. So all that to say, I have made a lot of progress. And this year I made so much progress that I said, fuck a resolution. I ain't doing it. And I'm not doing it.
I think that's healthy.
And I haven't.
If I were to read my letter from last year to me, it would have probably not said, your mom's going to be dead. But it is true. That's why we took off the month of January for real. But I will say, and I keep thinking about this, that was like really harsh way to go into it, but that's the easiest way for me to say it. And I think a lot of people listening probably already know.
Also, that's showbiz. Yeah. How do you want us to talk about bad things?
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to be.
No, we're just going to talk about them the way we're going to talk about them. And in fact, I will just say that I'll share funny with you guys. On New Year's Eve, I was texting my friend of the pod, and my stepmother, Kat Barnes, and I voice noted her. And I had this fire in me like 2 weeks leading up to the new year. I had this doubtless, like I don't know what to say, a fire lit in my heart about the future. I just was so sure that this new year, the year of the horse, was going to be a turning of the tides. And especially with all the work, and specifically me and Kat were talking about our careers acting. And I was like, this year is different for us. We have put in so much work. We've done all these things. This year, I have a big feeling, sister. This is on New Year's Eve. I have a big feeling, sister. It's gonna be great. Things are happening. Things are moving. 30 minutes later, I would receive a call that my mom was in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. So things did change. It is crazy. It's very sad. I could never imagine all of the emotional work, physical work, admin work that would come with this time of my life. I've never been busier, and yet also never had a more clear schedule, because if I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. Or if I physically, like mentally can't do it, I'm really not pushing myself too hard, aside from like work stuff. But I just want to say to everyone who's lost a parent, I'm so sorry. This is not funny. I'm going to laugh a little bit. It's not funny. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, obviously. And I didn't know that, like, obviously, if you would have presented the option to me, if you were like, well, your mom could die, I'd be like, oh, that would be really hard. But I really didn't think my life could have gotten harder right now. I was like, no, this is the worst. I struggle financially. I blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an actor. I'm in this industry where literally it feels as if, and I know this is not completely true, and I truly in my heart, I don't believe this, because I wouldn't be doing it if I did, but my industry is blowing up right now. You know, this is not an industry podcast, but, you know, Warner Brothers buying Netflix, not good, honey, not good. The world's blowing up. I just didn't think it could get harder, and it did. And I'm still breathing and I'm still alive. But I know that this feeling is also very isolating, even though people have gone through it. And I'm so blessed to have friends who understand the situation. And also at the same time, I'm mad. I'm even more mad that it has happened to them, you know? And I don't know, it's just every day I'm doing a new thing, and it's like I'll touch a light switch. I'll be like, the last time I touched this light switch, my mom was alive. Like silly things like that. Also, I think every day I'm like, if something happens, I'm like, I can't tell my mom this. Or I didn't realize how ingrained my mom was to my everyday life. This is not the podcast for it, but I have had a very interesting life with my mom. And I think it only made this situation harder because we were healing so much from the past, from my childhood and from, you know. So I just want to say, don't come to me now if you need emotional support. But if you do want to talk about your situation, I'm ears. I just can't give advice right now because I have no thoughts for myself or others as far as advice, except I think the thing that's been helping me is just talking about it as freely and as possible, like as much as possible. Just acknowledging the elephant in the room. It's not easy when people see you and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like that's probably the worst thing you could do. Just know that I'm going through it and be with me. You don't have to coddle me. You don't have to, you know, if you want to give me free money, if you want to give me free, I will accept that. And I will say thank you and I will love on you. But, if you want me to win the lottery, like that sort of stuff, I'm not talking about giving me money. I just mean, I don't know what I mean, to be honest. But yeah, so this year is going to be tough. The next year is going to be tough. And the next year is going to be tough. And I'm going to find peace in that. But I want to keep talking about my mom. I do want to keep talking about what I'm actually going through on that podcast because I think it's valuable, because right now, the thing that's helping me get along is knowing that I'm not alone. So hearing other people who have been through this, because when people talk to me and they're like trying to give me advice and they haven't had a parent pass away unexpectedly and have to go through the things that I had to go through, when they haven't had that happen, it's hard for me to fully listen, because I'm like, oh, you don't have the lens that I have. You don't have this experience, because it changes you. But I've had so many great people support me. If I haven't texted you back, I'm so sorry. It might happen in the next year. That's all I can promise. I love you though, and I appreciate you. And you reaching out means the world to me, truly. But I'm just going to try to be the best friend I can be, but also be the best Haley I can be and take care of me, as cheesy and crazy as that sounds. But really, I do have to think about that. And I'm going to try not to lose the things that I believe that God put in my heart and who I am, and in the things that my mom passed down to me. I'm going to try not to lose those sparks and that magic, because I think that's what could be the scariest part of this whole thing, is just like getting really in the weeds and not seeing light. So I'm really reaching for light and looking for light in all places, which is crazy, because I did do an end of the year call with my friend Mariana. She's an actor, and she does this end of year Zoom thing where she used to do it in person when she lived in Atlanta. She lives in New York now, in between. Why am I giving her address? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to blow up her spot. She talks about living in New York a lot though, so this isn't a secret. But she does this end of the year call, and she brings creatives on, people who aren't in the creatives fields, like all these different people. And she has us answer all these questions, and we go through them together. Anyway, one of the questions is like, what is your word of the year and why? And I chose light. And I think that's interesting because, and I said the reason why is because when I walk on to a set, when I walk into a room, when I text a friend, I want there to be light everywhere I go. I want people to feel like, full stop. I want people to feel Jesus's love anytime I'm in a room. And I think it's interesting that I chose that at the beginning of the year, or before the beginning of the year, because literally the beginning of the year, I'm like, cool. My mom died on New Year's Day. So I'm taking that as a sign of like, okay, I've really got to ground into who I want to be. And this is not going to be easy. It's literally the hardest thing I've ever done, but I'm going to do it. And I hope that I can be a light for you. And I hope that if you're going through this, or you have gone through this, or you go through this in the next few years, that you can refer back to that and think of light. And I want you to know that you can come to me to find that light, because I'm not going to stop. Even though I am literally in the trenches, I'm in the trenches, I'm not going to stop being the light. And even if the light is like flickering right now because I'm like crawling in and out of the trench, getting bombed, I'm going to do my best to be that. And that's my promise to myself, to you, to God, to Jesse, to the new hires. We're going to be light. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you for letting me say it. I know this is Comedy Pod, but if you laugh at awkward situations, then I guess this is good for you. It's comedy.
It's a real life pod.
It's a real life. Yeah.
It's a real life pod. And I think that you have to know that all the best parts of your mom are all the best parts of you. Mm-hmm. And that's never going anywhere. Yeah. And your spark and your light, that's never a question of that. That's just who you are. Yeah. And that's what you got to give. So
yeah, I thought of this thing. I was listening to a study being read. on TikTok. Because of course. And
TikTok University.
It was a neuro student, and she was talking about, women in STEM, she was talking about how when things get passed down, like these traits, these genes. So she's a neuro doctor, she's in school, and she was talking about migraines and how those clinical or what's it called? When it gets passed down, what's it called? Hereditary migraines. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Wow. Hereditary migraines. She was talking about how those are actually passed down because genes that are supposed to keep you safe, or good genes, what your body decides is a good gene gets passed down. So it's survival of the fittest. So at some point, those hereditary migraines kept you safe. Like cavemen, she was giving the example of like, okay, migraines happen before the weather gets bad. So it was alerting the rest of the tribe that the weather was going to be bad. And I thought about that. I was like, wow, that is so beautiful. I'm so thankful to have heard that in the space that I'm in right now, because I do want to pass down all the great things about my mom. And I have been thinking a lot about this, and especially at her funeral, which, oh my gosh, when the day comes when I can tell you guys about that, I cannot wait. That is comedy, man. But when her funeral came and I was meeting all these people I'd never met, and they were talking to me, and I was just like, really just trying to be alive and a human at that moment. People like looked at me and they touched me as if they were familiar with me, which don't do that. But I knew why they were doing it. They were in an emotional place saying like, oh, I lost this person that at one point I was really close with, and you are the closest thing to that person that I have now. And I think it's just this like human thing that we do. And they would like grab onto my shoulders, and they would I had a man touch my hair, and like, like I just notice these things too, because I'm constantly in the art of studying people and life as an actor. It's literally a natural gift I have, not being an actor, but I am an actor. And so I do think of these things of like, oh wow, like people actually do that stuff. Like I don't do that, but people do that. Anyway, people were saying to me, oh my gosh, you're this, you're that. You look just, this of you just sounds like her. When you say this, your mannerism, that, this, that. Or they would bring something up to me and it was like, oh, I do that. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing that I can pass down all these amazing traits that people connected with my mom. And I'm very lucky that I get to do that. But wish she was here, LOL. But I've never been more sure of something, that my mom is in heaven and made new. And like the fact that I get to meet my mom again one day, and she's going to be brand new in a body that is healed and a healed soul. And that when I meet her then too, I will also be in a healed body and a healed soul. And I'm just so pumped. That is such a beautiful thing. So that's exciting. Okay, I'm done crying. I won't do it again. Maybe.
I think never say never on that.
No, never say never. I will cry again. Yeah. I cry at the most random stuff, y'all. Most random stuff. I'll see like an elf lip mask, which I own, so I see it quite often. And I'm like, I put my mom on that. And when I went to my mom's house after she died, I saw like 3 of them laying around. And like one was like open, like she had just used it before she had like she fell. We don't need to talk about it. But like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like all these things, she was using these in the moments leading up. Like that's how much she loved these things that I put her on or gifted her. And I think that's cool.
Yeah. I think too, it's normal for you. And if you have not experienced this level of grief, and if you have never experienced losing a parent specifically, or a parent figure specifically, there is nothing like it. It is different. It's different than losing a grandparent. It's different than losing a best friend. It's very, very different.
A dog.
It's very different. And I urge you, if you have someone in your life, again, who's lost a parent or a parent figure, like please really
love on them.
But like use and choose your own experiences wisely that you choose to relate to this person, because it's very different. And the rawness associated with it, the absolute unbearable rawness that Haley's kind of describing now is unimaginable. It's unimaginable, the rawness that you feel towards the entire world.
I could have never
towards
thought.
Everything that you feel around you feels totally different and at points excruciating. And I think that it's so wonderful to hear you speak so freely about it. I think that had I been in a different headspace, when my mom passed away, I would have really benefited from hearing somebody else talk through their rawness and be so vulnerable with it. And I admire you for doing that. Not everybody can do that.
You've encouraged me to do that. So, I mean, again, I don't know what I would have done and what I would be doing now. I don't want to imagine it, and because simply I don't want to go there. But without the encouragement of people who I know who have felt this amount of grief and who feel it, because one of the most calming things to me that you have said, and that I've heard from other people who have had parents pass unexpectedly or at a young age that they shouldn't be gone for, is that it doesn't get better. And that is so freeing to me in a way. It gets different is what it gets. But it's not like one day you wake up and you're like, I don't miss them anymore, which you kind of forget about not forget about them, but they don't land in your everyday, like you don't feel them in your body, if that makes sense. It's not like this physical, I don't know how to explain that, to be honest. But I knew before this had happened that I did not know the feeling, because I would try to imagine it when I would talk to friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I literally can't imagine. And I don't want you to have to imagine. That's one thing, because it'll happen and then you'll know. So don't imagine. But maybe what you can do is, if you have someone in your life, is just, not try to compare situations and just be gentle and loving on them. Just be gentle and loving on them. That's the best thing you can do. And not like baby, like, oh, you okay? It's just like, hey, I love you. I love you. Like, not feeling like you're alone. And if there's a thing coming up, this is one thing I think of. If there's a thing coming up that their parent should be there for and they're not, love on them extra around that time, because they will be thinking about it the whole time, probably, that their parent isn't there. Yeah. So if there's an event or there's something that comes up, they tell you great news that you know that they're dying to tell their parent about, love on them. Celebrate them 10 times harder. And don't stop, even when you don't feel like it. That's one thing I've noticed, is that I've noticed that a lot of people, and this is just something that's happening in our world in general, but a lot of people have gone inward. We've talked a lot about this on the podcast in general, about community and how important it is, and how we've lost the art of community. And I think it's because we've gotten so inward. We are so selfish, from our laws, from our healthcare. Everything is selfish. Everything is built for a certain amount of person who is running the game, and we're all clowns, to be honest. And it's true too. Everybody knows that is true. That's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but knowing that information and knowing that we're all inward, and everything that we do kind of sets us up to be inward. Social media, all these things set us up to be inward. So a lot of times we do this thing where it's like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do that. I don't blank, blank, blank. And I earlier just talked about, like, if I'm not mentally there, I'm not going to do it right now. Well, my mom just died. Okay. So that's a little bit different. But sometimes we do need to put in a little bit more effort for the world. And I think that with, again, like when an event's coming up or whatever, loving on those friends who have lost someone so close to them, think about that a little bit more. Just even when you don't feel like it, just a little bit of a little text can help. Just a little bit of love, and also acknowledging that. And I don't know how to do that exactly. Everybody's different, so you do have to like think of the friend, but acknowledging that it happened is okay, because it did, and it's a part of that person's everyday life.
I think too, the other thing that you and I have talked about, which I was thinking through, maybe some things that people might not expect out of their loved ones if they're grieving. If you have someone in your life that is actively grieving, you just touched on it and we've talked about it together, is the anger that comes along with that.
Oh my gosh.
And I would urge you, if you have someone in your life that's grieving, if they seem angry, don't take it personally. Do not take it personally. But the anger that comes up around losing someone can bleed into every facet of your life. The anger that they're gone, the anger that they're going to miss out on things, the anger that how could they leave you? The anger that sometimes, I know not everyone, but some people might feel angry at God or angry at the universe or angry at whatever, but that is also normal. Mm-hmm. And if you're grieving, if you have grieved or you feel guilty for feeling angry, it's very normal. And if you have someone who's seemingly acting angry at you and they're grieving, don't take it personally. It's so hard not to feel that overwhelming sense of displaced heartbreak, and sometimes that comes off as just mad as hell. Mad.
No, I did not understand. Man, I was like a butterfly before this happened. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like all the anger, all the sadness I've ever felt before was nothing in comparison to how I feel now. I'm mad 24/7. And I've thought, and thank God I have Jesse to talk to, J-Dog, Kat, my stepmom, my friend Megan. She, like all these people who understand anger in a way that it's inexplainable. Like, I am mad all the time. And I didn't know that. And I do realize, because I'm able to talk about it and I have friends who've gone through it, that this is displaced anger. And so I'm able to check it. It doesn't mean it's not there. Girl, I am angry. I'm angry all the time. Also, the art of, when how people are saying, you never know what someone's going through. Treat everybody with kindness. You never know what you're going through. And, I believe that before, obviously. But I mean that 10 times more now. Because when people are butthole to me now, I'm like, you don't realize what I'm going through. You have no idea. Because when you put a smile on and you take care of yourself, sometimes people say, well, they got it all together. Their life must be great. No, it is not. Y'all have no idea what I'm going through, truly. And I'm not going to tell you, because other people are wrapped up in it, and it's not my business to tell everybody's business, which is also my business. And it is nuanced. And there's a lot of, like, I've never had so many bad things happen to me all at once. And I have so much anger. But I will say, and I told Jesse about this story, but I went to one of our favorite Pilates studios the week I got back after the funeral. And I went to go work out, and I saw this girl in the class, and she was behind me, and she was just gorgeous. Like, she was beautiful. She looked like she stepped out of like a time machine. She had this like stunning afro. Her body was like, it looked like she was almost like an angel. Like, maybe she wore full body glow to Pilates. And I know that's not true. She was just glowing. It was who she was. And she was so strong. And I watch people in Pilates because I'm like, wait, what does that mean again? Because if you've been to a Liguri class, now we're doing the Disco Inferno chopper. Like, what? I can do it, but what is that?
Flying donkey's a real move, okay?
Yes, and I'm like, wait, what was that again? It's really hard because it doesn't make sense anyway, but it's a great workout. But so I do look around a lot because I'm like, wait, what was that again? And so I was watching her, and that's how I noticed her. So after class, and I'm a firm believer in this, and this is what you should take from this whole podcast too, is when you think something nice about someone, especially a woman, you tell her, even if it's a stranger, be bold, be bold. What's the most embarrassing thing that, like, why are you not doing it? Anyway, so I walk up to her and I say, hey, I just want to tell you, you are so strong and gorgeous. I was staring at you during class because I didn't know what I was doing, but also I was just so impressed with you. You're so strong. And she goes, oh my gosh, thank you. I've been having such a bad morning. And she goes, by the way, she said, thank you for smiling. She was like, I noticed that you were smiling throughout class. She was like, I'm also a fitness instructor, which I was like, I was also a fitness instructor. So that's why I do smile during classes, because if you notice, your fitness instructor is talking to you. They are really looking at you and talking to you. And I know your mind is wrapped up in the workout, and they're not offended if you don't like interact. They're not, but they are like talking to you. So I acknowledge when they make a joke. I acknowledge when they say something cheeky. I acknowledge when they talk to me. Like, I acknowledge those things. And so I did smile during class. And if I make eye contact with someone during class, I smile at them. And she said, thank you for smiling. I immediately started crying when she said, thank you for smiling, because you don't know how hard it is for me to smile right now. I said I wasn't going to cry, and I did. It is so hard for me to smile. I am actively thinking in my head, it is okay that you're in this horrible place, Haley, but you are still a member of this earth. You are still a follower of Jesus. You are still Haley Grace Swartout, full government name. So I need to try to show up as that person. And that means smiling, even when I feel like it's impossible. And I was just so happy she acknowledged that. And she was like, your smile comforted me during this class. And I was like, wow, I am so glad that I could comfort someone when I am in the most uncomfortable place in my life. And we've got to do that more. We've got to just compliment people, treat them as if they're someone who is also going through things. Because honestly, now I'm like, your mom could have died yesterday too. Like, yeah.
That's the other thing too, that I know that grief has so many negative aspects to it. And I hesitate to call it a positive aspect.
No,
but
it's a purpose.
One of the things that I find that's positive that comes from it is your ability to look at the bigger world around you and know where your placement is among other humans, among humankind in general, and how that grief can open up your ability to have compassion and empathy and kindness if you let it and when you're ready. Because again, that anger for me was running deep and strong for a long time.
Oh, I'm mad.
But the windows start to open, and then the doors start to open, and then the grief can allow this like over compassing ability to express kindness, because you understand our time is not infinite. And we talk about time a lot, about how it's a precious resource. It's the most precious resource we have. And being in the state, you're kind of like, I got to make the most of it. I got to go for it. And I also, not everyone's going to be inclined to reach out to other people, strangers they don't know, and that's okay. But even in like your inner circle, it kind of gives you this perspective of like, I'm going to start vocalizing my feelings, my positive feelings all the time. And it did that for me, especially after my mom passed away. It gave me this perspective that like, I was like, I am going to tell everyone I know how I feel about them, how I feel about
You're very
them.
good at that.
And it's bled over a little bit as the years go on, that I also now tell people I know how I feel about them when they hurt me, or when I think that they were acting out of alignment with who they are. Totally. But I honed it with the kindness aspect. And now I'm able to use that gift that grief gave me in other areas too. So I think, in the beginning, it might seem totally impossible to smile. It might seem totally impossible to give a word of kindness to somebody else. But there's a reason why when you're sad, people say volunteer. There's a reason why when you're feeling some type of way, people say do something for others. And it's because it kind of gets you out of your own shit.
Yeah.
And for me, and maybe for you, even workout classes got me out of my own shit. There were many, many times. And during certain times of the year, I'm on a reformer. I'm wherever, bawling my eyes out, because fitness classes were like that for me.
Yeah.
And I think that they can be like that for everybody. I feel like, well, fitness is a form of therapy, but I'm biased. But
no, it is.
I'm sure that woman really also you made a connection with somebody in spite of everything.
Yeah.
You know, like in spite of it all, you made it a connection. And that's
and I think
cool.
what you said was important of like, I'm not telling you that you need to go out and do it tomorrow if your mom died today. I'm saying I'm glad to have found that now. And also I wouldn't have found it so soon if it weren't for what I've gained from you and other friends who have gone through this. And again, being aware that there are more people on this earth than just you, and not being in your own head is it's a gift. It's a gift to, and I also realize it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out of the hole of how is this happening? All of these things are happening. It's hard to like push that aside and see the other stuff. But I have learned throughout my life, and I think immediately when this all happened, or like maybe the days after, I was like, dang, I have gone through so many things that I haven't shared with public yet, or ever, if I decide to. Or I got really mad because I was thinking of like how hard my life has been. And I started looking at people around me and I was like, they haven't been through this. Why do I have to? Like I got really, and I do that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I still will do that in my own head. I will be like, you don't understand. I've been through, why do I have to? And then I think, okay, well, I have this thing, this knowledge, and now I get to use it. And that is electrifying, dare I say. It is hard because I realize it's a responsibility, and it also, why do I have to be the one? But also it's a gift. So obviously I'm learning every day, and I will be learning every day for a long time. But using my pain for purpose feels really good. And obviously not every second do I feel like I can do that, but it has helped. And even like I started auditioning again last week, and that's been crazy. And using who I am now in every audition, using all of those things, I feel like is also electrifying. It's kind of exciting. It's like I have a new paintbrush to use in everyday life. And maybe that sounds too woo-woo, but I'm also like, that's the kind of business I'm in, you know?
But also to learning to navigate a new life tragedy is a skill. It is a skill, and that might mean different things for different people. But when you learn to navigate something successfully in your own life, it provides you skills in other areas that you might not have even realized you were able to learn new ways to cope and deal. And it does give you a paintbrush. It does give you a tool. And that's why we keep going, right?
Yeah.
It's because we added that tool, and that tool was enough to keep going. And it also is enough to not break you in the future.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that if you experience death again from someone else, I'm not saying that when my dad dies that I'm going to have the perfect tool that go, oh wait, my mom already died. I got the tool in my toolbox. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that the experience that I have already of the death of someone that I loved so much will inform what I can expect. And that is the tool that will inform what I can expect. And it will leave me knowing that I am not going to be in a pit of despair forever. That's all I'm saying. You know,
I will dip my toe back into that pit quite often, probably, but I'm not going to live there.
Right. Not forever, on and off. I rent. I still and forever will rent a little condo in the pit of despair for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that because it's just a part of having a mom that you loved. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I didn't like whenever my mom passed, and I still absolutely hate it, when people refer to grief and heartbreak as the unexpressed love. It's just the unexpressed love has nowhere to go.
Wait,
and so that's where the grief and the heartache is.
So many people.
I hate
and
that.
I'm like,
I absolutely hate that because in my circumstance, there was not 1 ounce of unexpressed love to my mom. And there was not 1 ounce that I didn't pour back into that woman and that she didn't pour back into me, and back and forth because that's how we rocked with each other. So I hate that saying. Grief is not the unexpressed love.
Or like the love that you no longer can
Grief
give.
is everything we've just talked about with Haley describing of the anger of them not being able to see and ride shotgun with me anymore. That's what it is. So don't try to tell me what grief is. Don't try to tell your friends what grief is. Don't try to tell them what it is and isn't and should be. Like, let it be different for everybody.
Even if you've been through it. Because
and
it
don't,
is different.
for the love of God, don't Google nothing on the internet and say what to say to my pal who's grieving.
No,
because I've done that before. I've done that before just to see what other people might have been picking up to put down on me. Don't do that. I didn't like not a damn thing I read. And don't use chat for this. Don't write me a little text message or a condolence card using chat.
Stop using chat in general, guys.
I'll know.
Please stop. It's obvious. And please stop. Use your brain. Use your critical thinking skills. This is a part of being a human. And that's my tough love of the day is do you never use chat. This is me being mean to you. This is my anger coming out. Never use chat to write a text to express your condolences for someone. No.
I would rather you say to me.
Use your human there.
I would literally rather you say to me
or nothing.
I would like to express my Condoleezza Rices to you.
Yes.
Than saying,
and I would say
deepest sympathy, condolences, ampersand. Wait, no, what is that little M dash? You know how they say that chat uses the M dash, which by the way, I've been using that before.
I've been using that too. So now
I took it out of my,
me too.
Of my vernacular.
Like, chat. Well, I do that too. Yeah, don't do that. But just know that it's the craziest feeling, and I don't want anyone to go through it, but you will. I knew I was going to go through this eventually. I didn't realize it was going to be so soon. And I'm already like, it's so crazy because when I'm not going to explain the whole situation now, but I've kind of been grieving this mother-daughter thing my whole life. And so that's where a lot of my anger sits right now. It's like, girl and boy, I'm so mad. I'm so mad my mom won't be at my wedding. I'm so mad my mom won't meet my children. I'm so mad. And I swear, if someone tries to make me feel any type of other way, like try to express, well, she is here. Yes, I know how angels work. I mean, physically here, I'm still in my human body where I'm just a baby and I don't know. And I realize, I intellectually know that there's more than this. But right now, it feels like just this. So don't try to make me feel better about at all. I think that's one thing. Don't ever try to make someone who's grieving feel better about grieving. Does that make sense? Because it's just bad. It sucks.
I think it depends too on if they're trying to make you feel better through. For me, it could be different because if I'm like in a really tough spot, grief or no grief or whatever, and somebody tries to make me feel better by being like, let's get dinner, like let's do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that's different.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, like saying your mom is always here. She'll be at your wedding.
Yeah.
She'll be in the delivery room when you have your
kids.
I
know that sometimes for people, it's not that they're trying, like they are genuinely trying their best to say the thing that they think they should say or try to get the words.
Said that. I don't know.
Because we said this, I think at the top of this, but if you haven't experienced truly grief like we're talking about, you don't have the words yet, and so that's not your fault. And I honestly, I do not fault anyone for just trying to find the words,
right?
But if the words seem to fail you and they just come off as trite, and that is where it just falls on this, like, I wish you wouldn't have said anything at all about that. But I really sympathize with people who are trying to find
Yeah.
the words. They're trying to tell you something, but that's where I'm going back to. I would rather a friend say like,
Let's get dinner.
Or,
Do you want to go on a walk?
if you know me, I love dark humor.
Be funny.
Yeah.
Kat Barnes walked into my dad's house after my mom's funeral, and which, by the way, they finally met. Groot and her Kat and her husband, they met under weird circumstances, but that's cool. But she walked in, and my dad was apologizing for the mess, and she goes, "Why? What's going on?" And I thought that was so funny. I I didn't laugh because I'm not laughing right now. Like that. Sometimes I laugh actually.
But you're also notorious for, if you think that's something funny, you go, "That's so funny."
Because I'm thinking about how funny it is.
Nary a chuckle to be found.
Usually when something is truly funny, especially if it's spoken, like if it's someone being witty, I'm thinking about why that is funny and how you came up with it.
Also, you're not, in my experience, a loud laugher. If something is really a gut buster to you, you're like a silent, like
Yeah.
You're not going to be a gut buster.
But in this situation, I don't move my face. I just like, maybe I smile. But you know what I mean? I'm like, and I say that's
it's
funny.
like a silent.
I go, which I'm sure that was just a lovely image that I put on the internet.
A pant.
Yes. But yeah, I will say one thing, and I keep telling people this, is the one thing that I haven't felt is alone, because everyone is just so kind. And I feel very, 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 can't say this enough, blessed to have such truly, truly good humans in my life. Truly good humans in my life. Because even if they don't say the right thing, they're saying something and they're trying to be there. And I see it and I feel it. And even if I can't either get back to them or express how I feel in the moment, it truly means the world to me.
I hope that by giving a few examples and also just speaking candidly about our experiences, I haven't deterred anyone from reaching out by saying, if I reach out, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't, because I don't know the right thing to say, and maybe I'm going to say the wrong thing. I hope I haven't deterred anyone through that, because that wasn't my goal. It's just knowing that if the person the grieving person or the person going through something doesn't respond to you in the way that maybe they would, it might just be because your words weren't what they needed to hear at that time. And that's also part of being a good friend through something like this, is that you have to know that you're not always going to say the right thing. It might not always be met with the response you thought you were going to get. And you have to be okay with knowing that that's not a reflection of you or your friend. And sometimes you got to let that stuff go, and you have to kind of like keep trying and move on to the next thing you might want to say. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't been able to respond to a lot of people for the sheer fact sometimes they do say the right thing, and it's so, I'm still having to live my life. I didn't get any time off besides the time that I was home for the funeral, but I was working. I was also putting on a funeral.
It's painful to respond at times.
Yes,
and
that's what I was about to say.
It's so painful.
It takes a lot of, like, I'm busy, so I'm trying to do normal life, and then I'm also looking at these kind, amazing words. And I'm like, I've had friends share their own grief stories, or friends just send me hearts. And it is like anywhere in between there, great. And also, by the way, even if someone has said something that was wacky to me, I'm more thinking of it from the mindset of, I didn't realize that I literally did not know what to say. I knew I didn't know what to say, but like, you don't know what to say. So yes, I do have grace beyond what they're doing is a nice thing by reaching out, but it takes a lot to constantly acknowledge it all day.
Yes.
Because I already am in my mind. So when I have to do it with other people, it's that can be tough.
And I remember too, I not addressing some of those. I only let like a handful of people know ever. And then
yeah,
I handled it a little differently. Haley handled it, I think, with a little bit more of a good Band-Aid rip than I did. But I do remember going back to some of those texts from like the day of or whatever, and never ever responding to them, because I'm like, this day this day can go suck a dick. I never want to go back to that day. So if Haley doesn't, I'm just going to say this. If she never responds to your text, don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Don't.
It's not personal.
It's not. And please don't.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll text you and never respond. Maybe she'll never respond to that text, but then text you and say, want to meet me at Wet Willie's? Want to meet me at Buffalo Wild Wings? Want to meet me where? And you're just going to say, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. No, truly. Also, y'all, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, those days for the rest of my life, I think. I'm so mad. I've always felt very deeply sad for people who have experienced a tragedy near a holiday, because I'm like, dang, every year that holiday, because I think of them. I haven't even gone through what they've gone through, but that holiday, and holidays are already layered with that. Like, even if you lost your parent on a Sunday in June, you're going to think about it on Christmas because they're not there and they should be. I cannot believe New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
But honestly, it's kind of appropriate because it's just saying what we already knew. It's a scam. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is a scam. And we already knew that.
But on those exact days? On those exact days? Really? Okay. Well, I'm going to have to find the purpose in that. I will eventually. It's not there yet for me. Kind of big mad about that. And I'm going to stay big mad for a second, I think. But, you know, I'm going to think about it on a random Sunday in June too. So
it's right.
Yeah.
It'll be extra big sad times on those days. And then it'll be extra big sad times on other days.
Yeah. Oh, I will be out and about and something will happen that is unrelated to like anything. And I'll be like, oop, I'm going to cry and I'm also going to throw up at the same time. That's one thing. I didn't know I could be in a constant state of I'm going to puke.
For sure.
I'm going to puke at all times.
For sure.
I haven't puked once since this has happened, but I want to at every moment.
And you could maybe.
I could possibly. If you asked me to do it on a whim, like if it were like, I don't know, like if you're going to bet me money that I couldn't puke right now without shoving my feet, I could literally just go, ugh.
Can I show you something that I wanted to
Yeah, I'm kind of
show
scared.
you?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything we've been talking about.
Oh, great. Okay. What?
So I found something at Walgreens and I wanted you and I to try them.
Okay.
Can you hold this for a
I'm
second?
kind of scared.
So
also, I think I broke this arm. So like, this is really hard. No, it's okay.
Well, everyone knows I love Dr. Pepper lip
Yes.
chap. I have to put this on now because my lips they're literally flaking off. Time out. Okay.
It's that time of year. By the way, what a brutal time of year to go through tragedy too.
Oh my God.
Like,
we can't get a break. Zero.
No.
And then I found these at Walgreens.
I'm so excited. Oh no.
I couldn't believe it. I don't know if you're going to care about this.
You can believe it?
I couldn't.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I thought you said.
Have you ever seen that before?
You guys. Oh my God.
I found Dr. Pepper flavored Tic Tacs. Now, the reason why I'm bringing these to you is because my mom was the one that put me on to this Dr. Pepper lip smackers. They don't make it anymore. It is my life's mission to bring it back. I will at some point. They are Bonnie Bell lip smackers, Dr. Pepper flavored. Best flavor, best color, best moisturization.
They go for $100 on eBay.
And they do.
Because that's how few of them.
And I don't even.
I never use mine because I'm afraid to use it. Because I'm like afraid
to. No, I mean
it's amazing.
They're gonna survive the apocalypse.
Color.
You can use it and then. But
well, I'm afraid I'm gonna run out.
I'm going to bring it back.
We're not promised tomorrow. I should really be using it.
Okay, so my mom put me onto these and I have a little stash. I don't even like real Dr. Pepper. I don't drink Dr. Pepper soda. I think it's thick. I don't really like it. Yeah. But my mom was also obsessed with white Tic Tacs. And my mom smoked cigs. So that lady smelled like Dr. Pepper lip balm, a cig, and the white Tic Tacs. Okay, I found...
So we have to try them. Okay, well now she's... tomorrow's never promised. Neither is tomorrow's.
I choked on my own spit.
Next second.
Anyway, I wanted us to try them.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Okay. ASMR, TikTok ASMR. Okay, 4. Here we go. Shake, shake, shake.
Okay.
Okay. Should we suck on them or should we bite them? I always end up biting them. I cannot go through a mint.
That's Dr. Pepper, you know?
Oh my gosh.
If you have misophonia, what's it? Misophonia?
Ow. Just bit my mouth.
This is killing me right now. I mean, that's Dr.
That's
Pepper.
amazing. Okay.
I found these at Walgreens. Dr. Pepper flavored Tic Tacs.
Whoa.
I just wanted to share that
I like
with you.
those better than the original. They're not too Dr. Peppery. They are the scent. It's like the hint that the chapstick gives. That gives
It's an essence.
an essence. So it's not like you're drinking a sip of Dr.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And just
Just one more time. Jiggle, jiggle. I like it when you jiggle, jiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. You know that song that was popular 2 years ago? Or that sound? Mm-hmm. I don't remember what it said. But that,
I don't know if it's
remember that
freshening my breath at all. It's
No.
more like a candy.
Yeah, this is candy. I like it. I definitely had to bite them. I had to chew them. I can't get through a mint. I can't do it.
Anyway, I just really wanted to share that with you.
Well, I love them.
Good.
Keeper would like it too. She
would.
she'd be pumped.
She would shit a brick.
But they're in heaven. There's no way that there's not Dr. Pepper Tic Tac in heaven.
What if my mom and your mom are in heaven right now?
What if they have a podcast? Okay, first of all, only for adults' ears, because my mom will say what she wants to say.
What if my
No
mom
filter.
and your mom have a podcast in heaven? What? What would it be called? Personality Fire.
Oh, but it's in heaven, so we need to.
No, but they got
personality higher. Personality higher.
HIGHER.
Yes, that's
Yep.
what it is. Oh my gosh, should we Photoshop?
Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'm Tracy.
You have a. I'm not gonna let you go down that way. There we go. We're good.
And you're listening
Hey,
to
personality higher, and they do that.
the podcast where our two Bing Bong daughters are down there.
Also recording a
it up.
podcast.
I'm
That's
really
hilarious.
I'm really happy that we discussed this today, and I'm
Yeah.
really happy and proud of you for being so open and vulnerable about what you're going through. And I do think that if you feel comfortable as we continue on talking about like where you're at, I think that it could be really helpful for people to hear.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason I feel so compelled to be honest and share is because of how other people have helped me by being honest and sharing with me. And also because I don't want to show up, even if it's not like I'm not trying to be fake. I don't want to show up fake. I want to show up as real and full as possible because it's a perspective that only we can give because we have individual experiences. So showing up and not being afraid to show your full self is helpful for the world. And I think it's going to help me selfishly. And I also think that I'm funnier when I'm not holding back, and I'm more me when I'm not holding back. I'm a better human when I'm not holding back. So even if I have to show the unflattering parts, then I got to. And I just want to be real. Even if the real is like really not fun and cool
Yeah.
or funny.
Yeah.
And I think it's also going to inform who I am going forward for the rest of my life. So if I never got on the podcast and said that, it'd be like, you're going to be able to tell at some point.
Well, I was going to say, you already said this, but
Yeah.
things like this that
I'm a
happen
new
in your life,
person.
it changes you. And
Yeah.
it changes you. So I think that you addressing it and talking about it as it's changing you is so cool and pretty radical. Honestly, I do.
Metal.
With that, please rate, review, subscribe.
If you do not, for all this, actually, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
No, I am.
Okay.
Please rate, review, and subscribe.
Please share this episode with a friend
We're back for 2026 now.
every week.
Please share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Norway, I missed you so much.
Norway.
I love
Our
you.
People.
I love you. I mean it. And we will see you next Thursday.
Janine, take us home, sis. Also, by the way, my mom's middle name is Janine. Bye. Love you guys.